He died in 2005. It was December 21st when he passed away. We were set up on a blind date in college, and a girlfriend of mine said, "I know the perfect guy for you." And he was kind of a cowboy type. We were just best pals. We did everything together in college. 6 years later, we're married. He always had a zest for living that I just really admired. We were married for 5 years before we moved to Billings. A year after that, I was pregnant with my first child. We thought it was time for kind of a division of labor. He would work and I would have kids and stay at home with them. That was a big goal of ours. About 2003, he was let go from his job. He just decided to start his own company. He was very entrepreneurial that way. And his very first conference he was traveling to was in Nevada, Las Vegas, and he had some stomach pains before he left, but he didn't think anything of it. I had to pick him up at the airport because he was feeling so poorly. Well, by Palm Sunday, he was in the hospital, and he was diagnosed with mesothelioma, which is cancer of the lining of the lung. I was pregnant at the time with our fourth child. Josh was due at the end of May, so while I was going through the end of pregnancy, we had switched from being employed to starting a company. He had to go back to Boston for surgery, and because I was expecting at the time, I had to remain in Billings. He was trying to get through his surgery and recover in 10 days and get back in time for the arrival of Josh. So I went into labor, had the baby before he was able to make it back. So we actually were both released from the hospital on the same day. My parents picked me up from the hospital with the baby, and we met Jim's plane at the airport. So he made it back. That began a process of lots of doctor visits and checkups and things. As far as trusting the Lord, I just knew there was a plan. I just didn't know what it was. And then gradually, I just took on more and more responsibilities in the company and learned in that process that the Lord was teaching me to be able to manage, prioritize, and that I was going to do okay in business. Kind of a spinning plate idea, if you will. We would just go from one thing to the next most important thing, whether it was a child's need or my husband's need or a business need. His next quarterly checkup was February of 2005, and cancer was back. There was a gradual progression of decline in his health. His chemo visits we did as a family. We just took McDonald's, and I took those little portable videos and we set that up in the chemotherapy room. And all this time people would ask me how things are going, and I would say, you know, I don't know what the plan is, I just know there is one. He passed away on December 21st. I had obligations that very month, that wire transfers that had to go out. I had normal business to do. The kids were so little, 8, 6, 4, and 1 was a lot on a plate to manage. It was my goal to run the race with perseverance that's set before us. I had jobs to finish. God put me here to take care of this work that needed to be done. And was it easy? Not always, no. I learned that I could operate on very little sleep. I learned that I didn't love getting up at 6 a.m. to go to work. And my husband really wanted 4 children, and they're the reason I stay motivated every day. The Lord just strengthens my steps, just helped me take it one day at a time, always trying to learn as much as I possibly could in the time that I was given before a child needed something that I had to go do. I just knew God was in charge. I just trusted that there was something that was unfolding that I couldn't see at the time, but looking back, it was giving me confidence to continue forward in a company that I still run today. So has it given me confidence? Tremendous confidence. Was I full of fear? Tons of fear. I felt inferior. I felt unprepared to a large extent, but I knew how to learn, and I knew the Lord was with me, so I just kept going. So people ask me all the time, how do I do it? They compliment me that I'm remarkable or amazing, and what I know is that I don't live my life to be remarkable or amazing. I know God has a plan for me. I know I was living it out. Even when I didn't know what it was, I just trust in the Bible, trust what it has to say. I know that the Lord has a plan and that I just have to see as far as He's directing my steps to see and live it out one day at a time. There's a meaningful verse that was special to both my husband and I. It's Matthew 25:23. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a little, I will set you over much. At the end of my time on earth, that's what I would really love to hear.